I was 9 years with doTERRA and thought it's time that I give up my corporate job. I was working 20 hours a day, not a week, a day. Any little breaks that I would take, 10 or 15 minutes, 20 minutes, I was just on the call supporting people and reaching out to people as doTERRA rolled out new things. And that went on for a few years. My hours were being tugged where my heart was more toward doTERRA. So I actually did retire, and here I am, and I'm like, what am I going to do with all my hours? Well, I even work more now than I did during my 45 years of corporate because I love what I'm doing. I found my passion, and people say, well, I thought you retired. And as people golf or run or do whatever they do in their life, my hobby is truly doTERRA.
So welcome back, those just joining. Natalie and I are passionate about sharing freedom, and this has been an 18-year journey for us, creating freedom for ourselves and for others. And we love to share stories with you and invite others to share their journey. So today we've invited Sandy, who's a diamond from Wisconsin, to share some of her journey. So welcome, Sandy. Where are you from?
Eau Claire, Wisconsin, or Altoona, so central Wisconsin.
Okay, fantastic. And how long have you been with doTERRA?
Almost 13 and a half years.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, go ahead and take us on your journey. What was life like before doTERRA? What were the needs that you had, the holes that were not being filled?
Great question. I will tell you that I grew up in a family of 10, and it's been an incredible journey up until 2002 when I was very, very healthy in so many ways and really very blessed. But in 2002, our daughter that is autistic and myself left church and went 3 blocks and were hit head on. And the impact changed my life that moment, like forever. And I went the natural route for 12 years because that's all that I knew. Even though I did things like chiropractor, massage therapy, needling, massage via prescription via the doctor. So just a lot of natural things. But I was on 9 prescriptions and a lot of over the counter. And I was going every 6 months for liver and kidney test. And probably the best thing he could have done is says to me, Sandy, we need to put you on 2 more medications. And that's when I realized that people in double digits are people that are in the nursing home. At the time, not a 57-year-old. So you all know how old I am. I'm just a very young 70-year-old this year. And so I went home, and when he said 2 more, I was just like, I literally went to him, time out. And I went home and Googled natural solutions for this particular side effect. And in the Google, it said whisper essential oil. So I had nothing. My dad oiled equipment up and did a lot with the oils, and we did, of course, a lot of cooking with oils. So I sent an email to 63 people in my company and says, does anybody know in particular what whisper essential oils are? And in my office walks a guy with hair way down his shirt. And I thought, yep, if it's something holistic, it must be Kurt. And so he introduced me to it and sold me via retail a little 5 ml bottle of Whisper at the time. And believe it or not, Andy, that took care of that side effect. So I was just like, ooh, so I don't have to go on that prescription. And so I kept going. And within 9 months, I was med-free. No over-the-counters and no prescriptions. But I tell folks, what was my prescriptions was now my doTERRA stuff. And I remember clearly when doTERRA rolled out deep blue polyphenols, Dr. Hill went to Minneapolis and he rolled one out there. And I met with him following and saying, this is what I'm on. What can I possibly go off with this? And he walked me through, and it's been incredible. And I must say that Kurt, who enrolled me then, did something so smart. He invited me to the doTERRA convention the next year. I enrolled in March. So like a year and a half later, he invited me. And I must tell everyone, because they probably know, those that do know me, I'm a severe workaholic. And I'm like, I can't take off 3 days from work. Like, what are you asking me to do? But maybe I can, when convention's done, I can work at night. So I went, and honestly, it changed my life. more than anything could have ever changed my life. It was that. And I said to Kurt, when he said something about the business, I said, I would put $10,000 on the table. I am not going to do doTERRA as a business. I knew nothing about network marketing. It was just about getting healthy. And that my plans were to work at my corporate job till I was 80. Everybody said, when are you going to retire? I said, when I'm 80. That's my golden year. Well, doTERRA tugged on me. And as I got healthier through my journey, I had folks say, Sandy, what are you doing? And what are you drinking? And what are you on? Thinking, even my siblings, like, are you starting to drink and are you on drugs? Why are you changed so much? Your disposition, your just everything. And I said, well, I found this company called doTERRA. And so then I knew nothing about building, but I would just enroll. And to this day, guys, my front line is about 3 miles long because I just kept enrolling and enrolling, enrolling, enrolling. And that was really what I'm going to call people that approach me. I did not at that point reach out to anybody. It was my neighbors, people from church, my family, whatever it might be. And then I thought, well, I've exhausted that. And I kind of got a little buzz about building doTERRA now. And this was incredible. But I was still working my corporate job. And I did do that until 4 years ago. I did both. And at that point, then I was 9 years with doTERRA and thought it's time that I give up my corporate job because when you think 4 or 5 years ago, it was during the COVID season. And because of what I was doing, which was adult education, I was working 20 hours a day, not a week, a day. 2:30 in the morning, I'd go to bed till 6:30. And any little breaks that I would take, 10 or 15 minutes, 20 minutes, I was just on the call supporting people and reaching out to people as doTERRA rolled out new things. And that went on for a few years, working that many hours. And I worked 7 days a week, which I'm not complaining because I enjoy it, love working. So, but my hours were being tugged where my heart was more toward doTERRA. So I actually did retire. It took me 4 times before the company would accept. And here I am, and I'm like, what am I going to do with all my hours? Well, I even work more now than I did during my 45 years of corporate because I love what I'm doing. Absolutely love what I'm doing. And I want to share what I'm doing today with my business, if that's okay, Andy.
For sure. We'd love to hear that.
Okay, so I tell anybody that's out there, do what your heart loves. So, for instance, at the time I was doing classes at the park and classes in my home and wherever, and that was wonderful. But I still felt a need to even contact more people. So, um, back about 8 or 9 years ago, we purchased a vendor company that did, they called it then psychic and holistic vendor fairs or something. So we purchased it back then. They were doing 4 vendor fairs a year, and I did that for 3 years with her and thought, 4 fairs, that's just like nothing. So we ramped up. Now we're doing 40 vendor fairs with the company that we purchased, which is now called Rooted Holistic Healing and Wellness Fairs. So we go all over Wisconsin, Minnesota, a little bit in Iowa. We did some in Michigan, but love, I found my passion. And people say, well, I thought you retired. And as people golf or run or do whatever they do in their life, my hobby is truly doTERRA. So I found what I love to do. And so 2 days a week, I did one last night. I did forest bathing here, and it was incredible in my front yard. And then did some grounding and earthing here, and then took them out toward the woods and had our amazing experience out there. And then I do an unplugged once a month. I'm doing my 4th one now on August 6th. So those are in the house. And every week we send a newsletter out. And that's been for about 6 or 7 years. That was well before even COVID. And every Wednesday night, open to anyone and everyone, we have continuing education through Discovery Essentials that I find the speakers for and run. I'm the MC for it. And tonight we have a doctor on parasites. So each week we give something away. You graduate, you get gifts for graduation. So it's been incredible. And every day I do a Facebook Live. And I want people to know, generally it's on my walk, which is also one of my hobbies. So I want to show them that I'm active and that I'm healthy. And most important, being consistent in whatever it is that you love to do. And I'm not saying everybody's got to go out there and do vendor fairs, but what is it? Ask yourself, is it social media? Is it in-house classes or face-to-face one-on-ones, whatever it might be? So I'm really incorporating a number of things. I don't do an abundance on social media, even though I'm doing Facebook Lives every day. I post every day. I add value to their lives, staying connected, and then the weekly newsletters. And so I found my niche and I found my journey, and it's really, really been incredible.
Wow. What an incredible journey. Thank you so much for sharing. And while you were talking, I was super curious about Whisper and what some of the therapeutic benefits were. And so I actually uploaded that in the Zoom. And in the Essential Life book, it says that it's great for hormones, hot flashes, lack of self-expression, lack of self-confidence, and anger and irritability. So this is great news and information to me. Some of the therapeutic value of Whisper. So that's amazing.
So what I did, Andy, is whatever medications or all of these medications and all these over the counters, I had a complete hysterectomy at 32. So
Mm,
think about how many years later it put me in like severe where I was just
mm,
wet. And so when he wanted to put me on some hormonal medications and things, that's when I said no. And I Googled, then found Whisper.
mm.
And that just, like I said, really honestly took care of it in so many ways.
Amazing. So take us back to the start of your journey. I love how you shared exactly what you're doing now with the forest bathing and the unplugged events. Take us back to when you first got started. You mentioned some vendor events, but what was the very first thing? Was it a class? Was it a Zoom class? How did you get started doing the business, which you swore you never would?
Well, I'll tell you why I knew in my heart which was going to be most successful, and that was face to face.
Mhm,
And I had my first two classes in our own home with people that I knew, like
mhm,
neighbors and people that reached out to me. And Andy, I was so sick for a day or two before that I knew that I
mm,
could never go up there. I had a hard time going up in front of the class to introduce the speaker,
mm,
my enroller. I was like, I can never ever do this. And if I can't even introduce him and her, what am
mhm,
I going to do? But I knew that I owed all of these people the journey that I was on in my health. And
mhm.
so I built up confidence, and now I absolutely love it. So it was
Wow.
hard, but I did in-house, in-home classes in my home weekly, and then not regionally, but in our community, we drew probably from an hour and a half every Tuesday night. We did classes at a community place and invited
Mm,
the community there, and from there that just grew as well.
fantastic. So, for those listening who might be a little nervous about getting up in front of others and presenting, um, sounds like there's hope.
Trust me, Andy, if I can do it, anyone on the call and anyone listening to this can do it.
I love it. So, in person, you knew it would work for you, and it has. Um, and in-home classes is that the primary thing that got you to Diamond was in-home classes?
And still is today. I
Okay.
absolutely believe that I give them all an in me, on me, and around me experience. So which
Mm,
I can't do like tonight. We can talk it, but we can't have them experience it. So everybody last night as we started got frankincense in their hands. And then when we were actually by the woods, we got shinrin. So they were able
mm,
to put it on their hands. The only thing they didn't do last night was ingest it, except when I went back and put a little frankincense back in their hand. I had them touch it with their tongue so that they knew the quality of the oils. And as we know, you can't ingest Shinrin-yoku, so they were able
mhm,
to ingest it and definitely inhale it. But when it's in my home, they have it beadlets. I got a little stash of those so that they can take it internally. But in me, on me, and around me is a true experience, and
mhm,
absolutely feel that face to face, at least for me. And I
mm.
Yes, I like to go to coffee and lunch. I got one booked tomorrow, but I like to have bigger groups and have them
Mm.
have some incentives for them to bring their friends or family here.
Beautiful. I love that in me, on me, and around me. That's giving people a fully immersive experience is so powerful, right? That's we are an experiential company. That's why the owners chose the model of network marketing is because it's only through people. You can't create that in a store, in a mall. Like it has to be in person. So can you talk to us a little bit more about the forest bathing experience? Um,
Yeah,
what all do
absolutely.
you offer there?
I have them go around your tree, stand on the roots, and tell them the importance of forest bathing and grounding and earthing in general,
Mm,
the immune, the emotional, the stress relief, the cortisol. I just go through all of it so they know the benefits and then they can experience with them on their hands. We go through a number of scriptures because we are going back to the earth. Like when
mhm,
we say gifts of the earth, we truly are during forest bathing. And I
mhm,
use a lot of Dr. Riggs' experience and try to read a bunch and really get them to slow down. We're not on a destination, we're just on a slow walk in a journey in nature. And we talk about what do we hear in nature? What do we see? What do we smell? And so I have them go through like five
mhm,
things. What are five things you see from the time we start here, go to the woods and come back? What do you hear? What do you smell? And we go through the senses. And it's been incredible to even have the guys open. Then when we get to the trees, they share the tree, why they selected the tree that they did and what it taught
mhm.
them or what they learned and while they quieted down. So it's been an amazing experience. And of course, in the back, we also have some deer and turkeys, which enhances the sounds of nature as well.
Mhm.
And we have a little pond back there. So it's been an amazing journey since I've introduced the Shinrin Yuku forest bathing experience. And
Wow,
everybody gets a little a 5 mil, a quarter dram, not 5/8, and then they get a handout of the foundational wellness as well as an emotional handout as well.
fantastic. I wish I could be there for one. This sounds amazing.
Well, I
What?
invited a guy that reached out to me, Andy. He called out to me again yesterday, and I don't even know where this guy's from. And so I said, he said, "What are you up to, Sandy?" And I said, "What I was going to do last night." So he came over and he shared for 15 years. 15 years he's been with Young Living.
Oh, wow.
So I gave him all the tools last night and the experience, and we're going to connect in the next week. And chances are he's going to be a doTERRA customer.
That's amazing. So cool. Tell us about the emotional handout that you use. What do you use for that?
We built one custom, and I don't have it handy here. And we go over the aroma touch, all of those, as well as the adaptive, the Koba, Iba, and Serenity are in there. I always tie in Clary Calm because that's has a huge impact on our emotions. And what
Hmm.
I found, I do a lot of muscle testing as well, Andy. Like every week that we
Mm,
are on the road, and when I'm on the road, I teach as well. And I went back to teaching the emotions because that's just seems to be
hmm,
the peak of interest right now.
hmm,
And I'm finding that I have to put in there in tune as well. I incorporated in my handout because
hmm,
people's anxiety spikes when that kicks in, when they have some
hmm,
and we're pulled from so many different streams of communication coming at us that I
hmm,
think and I don't want to use the word necessarily ADD, but when that's happening, the level of anxiety kicks in. And so by having Intune and Shinrin Yuku in addition to the aromatherapy kit has made a huge difference. And now they have tools, what it is, and all the benefits of each oil.
amazing. So, talk to us more about the mindset. You said that you've always been a workaholic, which is great. I can totally relate to that. But let's say someone's listening to this call and maybe they cannot relate to that. What would you say is the mindset of a doTERRA leader? What are the key pieces?
Absolutely. I will tell you what strengthened, in addition to my leadership, what strengthened probably more than anything is spiritually. When I talk
Mm,
about emotionally, for sure, because where I was with all the issues that I was dealing with, and physically, for sure, but spiritually, there is never a time in my day that when I apply oils, that I connect to the Lord because his gifts. And so I
Mm,
start my day with prayer and gratitude and thankfulness without a doubt. And
mm,
my mindset is set each and every day. I really don't have an upline that holds me accountable. I think personally, this is our business and we need to hold ourselves accountable. Before I go to bed at night, my calendar as to each hour and what is priority, which is right away in the morning, prayer, gratefulness, gratitude, things like all of that comes into play. And then that sets your mood for the day. And if you need
mhm,
to realign, if there's anything that brings you down, go back to where you started your day. And then I make time. I literally put time in my calendar for walking, which is one of my very favorites, connecting again to nature. And when I walk today, I am beyond grateful and thankful. I feel the breeze again. I smell and I listen. And something that I
mm.
didn't do before Dr. Riggs's forest bathing experience that I did in Oregon at one of the incentive trips for Diamond Club, but life has just changed around me so much because of the gifts that we were given with the oils and just applying them and what it does to me. But I think it's up to us to set our own mindset each and every day.
Amazing. So true. So grateful. I wonder if are you able to hear me?
Yep.
Okay, it said my connection is unstable. Um, I wondered if you could share. You said that during your forest bathing, you share some scriptures. Would you mind sharing which, even if you don't know the exact scriptures, like what are you looking for in the scriptures that you find? Because I love that grounding element.
I have about six, and I would love to even just share them with an email with you, Andy, so you can put them out
Right?
there to folks
Perfect.
because it's all throughout our walk as we connect and as we do it in grounding, and definitely talks about the gifts. And there's six different scriptures in here that I read, and it's important, I think, for folks to have that as they start possibly their own journey with grounding
Mm,
or earthing or forest bathing.
mhm,
I've been spending a lot of time with different teams about experiencing that because folks today don't want to come to my home and have me lecture. They
mhm,
want an experience. And
mhm,
forest bathing, the Shinrin Yuku, is definitely an experience, like our
mhm,
unplugged, or if you're going to make things, make and take in an evening of
mhm,
class. But I think gone are the days that they come here and just listen to Sandy blab, I'm going to say, because
mhm,
everything that I generally offer, other than stories, and every conversation is a story as well. But the
mhm,
stuff that I did years and years ago, stuff that they can read on the internet and they can find
mhm,
it and they can Google
mhm,
it. So I tend to stay away from facts tell and stories sell.
mhm,
Without a doubt, I have to share each week a story at least. I have my own.
mhm.
And during our leadership calls on Sunday night, every week we take turns, somebody shares a story, and everybody has permission to share those stories as well.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Could you share maybe some of what you do on those leadership calls? What's some of the
Yes,
content of that?
we start out by asking everybody to grab an oil and why did they pick it? Because where are they emotionally that particular moment? And then we start with successes. I want everybody to share, even if it's just a small success personally or business, professionally. And then I like them to also share any challenges that they're having. And what we did on Sunday is we focused on what are the different techniques and methods that you can let your existing customers, your inactive customers, your prospects know about BOGO. And then next week it'll be once all of those that have purchased, how we can follow up to support them and get them the ebook. So we're always looking ahead. We talk about ways to approach folks, whether it be on a ball field, a dance recital, a band, a ball game. It doesn't matter wherever you're at, the beach, water. We talk about questions to ask and letting and dig deeper. So please tell me more about that. And if you wouldn't mind sharing, I'm curious, can you share about this? And folks really open up because for the most part, they might come to my booth or come to class with a one thing. And by the time I start asking some deep questions, open-ended questions, and throw out there that curiosity and tell me more, I'm finding out a whole lot more deeper about them. So we talk about those questions and remind them each week. And then we always do some leadership. What business development books are you reading? What classes have you attended this week, and other than our Wednesday classes? And so those are some things that we go over during our Sunday calls.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sandy. What parting advice would you give for anyone who's on this call if maybe they're thinking of doing the business, or they've been in the business and maybe their volume, maybe their team isn't doing as amazing as they'd like? What advice do you have for them?
I think that generally, as we know, doTERRA's got a number of females on the team. We are all very giving, caring, and loving individuals. Each and every one of you that are on, each of you that listen to this, we are those kind of people. And set yourself aside, set your discomfort of talking and inviting and bothering them, if that's what you think it is. But we owe the public, we owe strangers, we owe them, anything to feel better and live healthier longer. So some stats that I read, 7 to 8, even 9 years before our time is, generally we spend either slowing down or in assisted living or the nursing home. But I tell each of the older generation, say even 50 plus, that's not even older, that I want them to live as active or even more active than they currently are up till the time of their death. And so it's not just living longer in a nursing home or assisted living. It is truly living healthier much longer. And that's been our motto, and my signature block and everywhere is our health is our wealth. And I tell folks there are billionaires that are sick, and that billionaire cannot purchase good health. So it's part of accountability and responsibility that I look at each and every day. What can I do to make someone healthier? So that's our approach. Not to be selfish and think of others.
Wow. That's exactly the heart and soul of doTERRA, isn't it? The outward focus, right? The focus on service and what can I do to lift and bless and serve others. Well, thank you so much, Sandy, for everything you've shared. I'd love to open it up to anybody else if they have questions. You guys can post them in the chat, or you can raise your hand and we can bring you on live to ask Sandy whatever questions you have.
Also, I tell my folks, Andy, is it's okay to it's okay to be uncomfortable, feeling uncomfortable. Just accept that. What today am I going to stretch myself on? Or who is that person that I would never, ever reach out to that probably needs my help, either emotionally, physically, financially is a big one. So who out there needs that? I'm so uncomfortable. At times I even feel myself like hyperventilate, but do it for them and set that being uncomfortable aside, and definitely get in that mindset and do it. And
Amen.
fear and rejection was the main thing for this last Sunday. They were afraid of being rejected. And I said, the no is just for today. If you approach somebody on Wednesday at 11 o'clock, that means Wednesday at 11 o'clock is a no, but not next week and next month or next year. So don't give up on those no. And it's not really a rejection. The rejection is today at 11 o'clock.
So true. I love that so much. Okay, we've got Jeff raising his hand. So he's going to come on and he can unmute and ask his question.
Good morning, Andy. Good morning, Sandy. Thank you for being
Jeff.
on here. Yes, you just instill hope. Way to go. Thank you. I liked what you were talking about, reaching out to people wherever you go. And that's where I feel most comfortable, just talking to people. Like yesterday, shopping at the mall. Me and my wife were there, both in doTERRA, and struggling to build our team. But in person, finding a good cashier at a store, and I'd invite them to the business. At that time, I don't have an oil to give them an experience. And you were just, why I chimed on is because you were talking about anywhere you are, a baseball game, at the store, wherever you are, you invite people. How do you do it? Do you go with a business opportunity, or is it an oil experience?
I want to get them an oil experience. And last convention, they rolled out those little tiny foil, Jeff. Don't leave home. Like you wouldn't leave home without your driver's license or you wouldn't leave
Mm-hmm.
home without your wallet, always put 2 or 3 of those in your wallet, tuck them in there as if they were a dollar bill, and you will
Mm-hmm.
always have that on hand with you and give them that experience because now you have a reason to follow up with them, how their experience was, and then it leads into the business.
Okay, so you're trying to open that pack and get it on them right there rather than doing it with a bottle of Shinrin in your hand,
Right.
which is a great oil blend.
Right.
Okay, all right.
Jeff, can I share one more thing in regards to the mall?
Absolutely.
Go to the drugstore or go to Walmart or go to a mall and go where all of the over the counter stuff is. And if
Mm-hmm.
somebody doesn't know where you find people, I will tell you I might run somewhere for 2 things and I might hang out for an hour or hour and a half in those aisles. Is there something in particular you're looking for? And if it has anything to do with what doTERRA has, guess what? I pull out my card and I pull out a sample and be ready for those visits to hang out a little bit at CVS or Walgreens. Have the oil, and there's no better place than in those aisles. Those are grabbing, they're waiting for you, as well as Costco or a Sam's Club. Go down those particular aisles. They want to hear from you.
And so somebody's in cold and congestion, you ask them particularly what they're looking for,
Yes. And why
and
can
then
you
just
tell me more? Is it allergies? Is it that they
mm-hmm.
have a sinus infection? And what is it? Whatever they're going to tell you, because they will. Tell me a
Mm-hmm.
little bit more about it. What have you used in the
Mm.
past? What's worked for you? Are you open to try this?
Interested in natural solutions.
Absolutely. I'd love to gift this little sample to you.
Okay. All right. I have been using the digital business card off of the app, the Empower Me app,
Hmm.
and so far it's hard to track. So I'm going to learn more about that. Um, how's your response with the physical business cards? Because mine has been zero.
I give it to them because mine has my picture on it.
Hmm.
Then I immediately say, Jeff, are you on Facebook? Are you on social media? And literally in the booth and all over, I have built, I think I've got like, even LinkedIn, I ask them if it's in a business environment like the Chamber of Commerce functions that I go to. I don't miss any of those. And I immediately invite them on the spot. So I have that. And then
Hmm.
I add value. I invite them to a class. I share an article with them. So I tell them that there's a few things I'd love to share with you today. And if they're not ready to exchange a phone number yet, which in many cases, they believe it or not, they will. As soon as you ask them about social media, they'll share it. We connect on Facebook, but I give them that card so that they can see my picture and remember who I was.
Okay. All right. I will get some made. Thank
Yeah,
you very much, Sandy. You've got so much knowledge. I'm going to free you up to somebody else's question.
thank
Thank
you.
you very much for being here. You give us all hope. 70 years young. Fabulous.
That's right. 70 years young. I feel like I'm really maybe 40, 35.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Thank
doTERRA.
you.
Okay, we have a question in the chat from Jennifer. Can we hear how you offer the business to someone looking for financial freedom who has already had the oil experience?
Great question, Jennifer. So I would say to Susie, and I follow up with them in regards to did it fill their need? And then I immediately say, is there someone else that you know? And often, that's how I started probably 13 years ago. Now I say, who do you know that can benefit from this? And in an exchange, Susie, we could talk about 3 options. We can have you refer that person. We can do a 3-way call, and doTERRA will compensate you for that. So it's immediate. We can also really do the refer a friend deeper up to $600. And if you do that, then we should really look at you getting income to help support the oils that you're currently purchasing now that you've just enrolled with. So would you or are you interested in actually sharing it or just having a little income to start with? Those people typically that get 20% want to take it more and more and more further. So it's a non-threatening place to start. And then I add them to my group on Sunday and invite them to attend a class. But that's the approach I take. Like, who do you know that can benefit from something, whether it be their sinus, their pain, their asthma, their, whatever it might be. And I give them a sample to share with somebody else. And I want them to know how comfortable it is and how rewarding it is, at least in my heart, when I help somebody. And then they're going to be compensated for it.
Beautiful. I love that so much. All right. Any other questions for Sandy today? Go ahead and raise your hand if you're on live or put your questions in the chat. Well, I don't see any more questions. Sandy, give us any parting advice that you have for us, for anyone listening today.
When it comes to the business, and that's probably why we're doing it today, that's not where I started. I seriously had as many as 40 enrollments and had no idea why I got the checks I got and what it meant and how seriously, I know I did not do it for the business at the time, for the money. But I will tell you, whatever component it is that you love to do, there's no right or wrong to build a business. Is it one-on-ones? Is it a class in the house, a class at the park, around a pool, somewhere at a park where the kids, if they've got young families, the kids can be out playing? Wherever that is it a vendor booth? Is it social media? Whatever it is, you will succeed if you do what you love to do. Not what Sandy says to do, not what your upline says to do. And keep in mind, this is your business and love what you do. It is truly my hobby. It's my hobby because I love the business component that I've tied in right now is by far the best ever. That's my hobby. But when you find what you love and do it, it'll just come so natural and free flowing, and you'll get awesome results.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Sandy. Thank you for coming on and sharing the journey. One last question from Jeff. What oils do you share for their first experience?
Really based on what's there and also what I have with me. Sometimes I've given 2 or 3 out, but I love to honestly give blends. And the reason why, because if I'm at CVS or Walgreens, which they have essential oils, and we know all about those, when I do a single oil, I know that they're probably going to go to the shelf and purchase a single. Seldom to never do I give out a single oil. I believe doTERRA should have as many packets of their blends, and those are the ones I give out based around their needs. And I always carry 2, 3, or 4 of the deep blue rub with me as well, in addition to the oils. And that's when, if they're really hurting, I will talk to them about using the deep blue. Just put a little paper clip because you don't need all of it, and then put a little peppermint over. But I never come out to say use peppermint for, say, a headache. I talk to them about the deep blue, and then I even past tense. But I always go there with a blend, like Jeff. Good question, like always.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Well, if
I see Jennifer's got a question, if you don't mind, Andy.
Sure.
Anybody is invited to Wednesday night classes, and this is not to replace yours, but to enhance your already education. So if you're doing a bunch like tonight, I am far from being a parasite person to teach on it. Dr. Shane does an incredible job. We had Dr. Tina Wong on this month. We have the veterinarian, and just have a lot of really experts on. And again, they're open to everyone. They're to enhance what you're already doing, not to replace. And then you follow up with them. Say, what were your thoughts? Because he's going to go over a lot of doTERRA products following the class at the very end. And what do you think that you would be adding to your next order or want to get started with based on all the options that we always give at class? Feel free to Facebook friend me, guys. There is information on there and more. If you want to reach out to me about my Shinrin-yoku experience, I can walk you all the way through that. If there's anything about vendor events, I am going to call myself an expert on that for sure. I've been doing vendor events for 50 years and I do 40 a year, so I'm truly great there. So how do you convince them to buy from you, not the peppermint at TJ Maxx for $5? I just point blank say to them that the stuff that we're going to find on the shelf, and most everybody can relate to either CVS or Walgreens. So I tell them, even places like that, the oils are manufactured. So you need to experience. For instance, I will put it on the top of right here on their hand and have them lick it. I'm saying you can't do that to any other oil. I'm not, read it in ARSA supplement facts, but I will tell them don't try any others internally, but you could do that for doTERRA. And It's when you share, especially lavender. And I don't, honestly, that's not one that I sample, but I love to do a comparison to their already lavender that they're using. They by far pick it up, and I say, "Do you ever do any lemonade in the summer? Don't we love fresh squeezed lemonade? Put a drop or touch the top of a lavender bottle and put that in your lemonade. It just changes it. And if you have some ladies together or families, take a few dried little lavender leaves or the little purples and put that on top of your beverage in a glass. A little bit of lavender oil and then some little lavenders. What a great, it looks like you're serving a elegant kind of drink there, and it's very, very healthy. So I always incorporate oils as much as I can. Let me see what else is out there. Link to your continuing education on my Facebook. Paula, it's out there. And again, if not, reach out to me. Oh, good. Andy put my Facebook out there. Yes, it's out there on my story already. On my story for this morning was BOGOs and then class for tonight. And then when you're in class, I show you how you can get your to graduate and get your free products. If you can sell only 1D blue, for example, do you sell retail or wholesale? In the booth, real good question. In the booth, I always sell retail. And the reason why is I always talk to them, would you like to get this at 25% off? And right now I'm doing Masters Club. So I tell them, if we talk about your needs in more depth, chances are I can get you a free oil, which is the Breathe Touch for the 100 PV. And then I go into the free diffuser as well at 150. So it's fairly easy. I sell more than I would love in my booth. And those are for people that already are customers but want it right now. And those that haven't placed an order for 5 or more years. Oh, there it is. Thank you, Andy, so much for that. Definitely we get them to I get them to re-enroll and just change the sponsor. If there's no relationship with them or the person above them they've never heard of, what often happens is, yes, I've got some oils and I went to a party and I don't think I'm enrolled. But of course, we know that if they have a kit, the chances are they've enrolled and they've never purchased since that party. That's a good time to really get them involved through education as well. I'm all about education, like 100%. I don't know if there's any other questions
I
out there,
think
Andy, that
I
I
think you've
missed.
covered them. Yeah, thank you so much, Sandy, for being so thorough and also for being so gracious and opening up your continuing education class. That's so kind of you. That's the spirit of doTERRA, right?
Right,
One big
absolutely.
family.
Yep. If there's any
Okay, so
questions, reach out to me via Facebook. What time is your class? Our classes are every Wednesday at 7 p.m. The only time we don't is when we go to leadership or at convention. And other than that, we run them year round at 7 p.m.
did you already touch on Marina's question? How do you convince them to buy from you and not the peppermint from TJ Maxx for $5?
Yeah, it is because I tell them that they're manufactured and that you
Okay.
can, and I put the peppermint on their top of their hand so that they can lick it and ingest it. And then tell them that at TJ Maxx, in some of those cases, it even says don't even apply it. And
Mhm.
those are some things, it's truly education. Letting them know that if you can't put it on your skin, do you even want to inhale it? Because that stuff that's not good for our skin surely doesn't want to, we want on our olfactory outlet and things like that, all the stuff that's going on in the brain. And so definitely, it's pretty easy to do that.
Awesome.
Yep, 8 p.m. Oh, you're so good, Andy. You're right on it. Yep, 8 p.m. Eastern.
Well, thank you so much, Sandy. You've been so
Absolutely.
helpful and so inspiring. Thank you for sharing everything you have. And we're just so happy for you and the successes you've enjoyed and the inspiration you're offering to each of us
Well, I hope
by
to see
sharing it.
everybody at convention this year. And I am going to walk Diamond for the first time. So I'm very excited.
Wow.
So hope to we see you all there.
Congratulations. We'll be there with bells on, celebrating you all the way.
Thank you so much. Thanks, everyone. Have a
Okay.
great day. Thanks for your time,
Thanks,
Andy.
everyone. We'll
Bye
see you
now.
next week.